What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more contents like this, and let's get into it, you guys. So I got to say, I feel a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Silly? I feel a bit naive with Bitcoin because it did something that is so common, and I normally see this coming, but I didn't. I feel like I got caught up in the trend that everybody was going off of. I got caught up in the overall emotions of everything, I think, and it messed with my analysis genuinely, because oftentimes whenever I see this kind of situation unfurling, right, where you've got this kind of higher low sloping trend line that probably everybody and their mother has drawn, right, you found support on it this day, I should have known that the low would not come right at the trend line, because Bitcoin never does that. It always breaks the trend line first. It makes everybody who thinks they know what they're doing by drawing a trend line like this, hey, that was me yesterday, right, thinking that it has to hold here because you have a diagonal line on there. It breaks your theory, and then as soon as it breaks it, boom, bottoms in, time to rip. Right? As soon as you get scared, shit your pants, you sell all the leveraged trades that are going long or out. All the shorters are like, oh, we just broke this trend, it's time to go short. Perfect time to reverse. Of course it was. That's what Bitcoin does, you guys. It loves to do stuff like that. It genuinely does. Let's go back in time and just see if we can find an example of this, right? So, I mean, here, for example, perfect example, actually. High here, lower high there. Look at that. Of course, as soon as you broke this line where everybody's so bullish that you broke this line, that's when we should be going through the roof. No, that's when we turned around. The diagonal lines don't hold up for Bitcoin. Look, same here at the bottom. Low here to low there. Look, you broke through it. Oh no, all hell broke loose, but that was right at your low. It's the same thing now. I feel so, I don't want to say dumb, just so naive, because I'm better than this. And I hope after this video, everybody who analyzes Bitcoin, anybody who does it in their own time, you don't even have to be a sophisticated trader, but whenever you put on these simple diagonal lines, I hope you understand that when we break out of them, it's likely the top, it's likely the bottom, right? I don't think this one, though, I personally don't think that when we break out of this one, that'll be the top. It's not always the case, right? Sometimes if we look here, right, you draw this line here, from a low to a low there. If you were waiting on this low to go below that line, you would have kept waiting. Right? It's not always that way. Okay, sometimes those lines hold, but oftentimes if you interact with it 3 times like you did here, you do break through it. And it's right when you break through it that you find support. So should have seen that coming. I've been very good about that this whole cycle. I feel like calling for exactly these kind of moves, and just not this one. So whatever, who cares? Hit that like button, subscribe. Let's get in and talk about where we're going to go, not about our follies. So beautiful thing about the RSI is it's continued to drop off. It's continued to cool off. We are below the 50, you guys. We're below the 50. We're at the lowest readings in the RSI that we've been since October. And that was the highest low we've put in since October. It's a higher low. It's a similar low to all these lows that we found here, and it's the most. We are so cooled off right now, you guys, in this RSI. That means that we are so primed for a move up into the overbought zone to get extended, to get into these high readings, these hotter readings. We're so cooled off. We have a lot of room to run, and Bitcoin in that time can run a lot as well. I would expect that this next move takes us anywhere from $123,000 up to $142,000 by the end of January. I'm thinking we'll be closer to 120 to 130 by the end of December. We might sell off a little bit to start off January, but nothing that's like crazy. I mean, basically as crazy as what we've seen now. And then going into the end of January, recover and come back up and put in a higher high at like 142 is what I'm thinking. But here we are now. I just want to explain my thoughts before I end the video, okay? Anytime, and I've said this a lot this week, but I want to say it for anybody who might need a refresher or who's new to the channel. Shout out to all the new people on the channel. If you're new, hit that like button. You know you want to. And if you're old, or maybe I shouldn't say old. If you've been here for a day or two or a week or two or a year or two, I would hope you're already hitting that like button. Thank you guys all for being here. Breaking above the 886, when you take the high to the low on any fib, you break above the 886, the next target area is the primary extended zone, which is the 1618 to the 1272. When you break above the 1618, the next target area is the 1886 to the 2618. Sometimes, in very rare circumstances, you can go all the way up to the 2886. Sometimes, in very rare circumstances, you break out above the 1618 and you go all the way up to the 1886. Hey, this is a rare circumstance. It happened, but you broke above it. When you break above the 1618, what's that mean? Next target area. And the next target area is anywhere from 105,000 to 142,000. But here's the deal. And I know this 200's there. That's actually not a fib. That's just I put that there as like a zone. Kind of like the white lines here, it's a zone. This is a zone in itself too. It's the 200 level, right? It's not a fib. So you can see why you went a little bit above the 1886, but still stayed below the 200 there. So when you break above the 1618, this is your next target area. The beautiful thing is you've already interacted with the minimum target of this area. So the next target, your next minimum target is literally 123K. After that, your 2618, your double golden extension, the area you're finding support on right now is the 1618. The 2618 is all the way up at 142K, and it's very common to ping pong off of these levels. What I mean is if you find support on the 1618, you go to find resistance at the 2618. If you find support at the 1414, you go up to the 2414 or whatever. If you find support at the 1272, you go to find resistance at the 2272. Does that make sense? It's not always like that. Don't take that to the bank, but it's something I've noticed. It's actually it's just funny how fibs are sometimes, man. Like if we found resistance here at the 1886, might we go all the way to the 2886? It's possible. It's possible. It's not something that should be thrown out the window, but I don't think we'll be at 158. You guys, if Bitcoin's at 158K by the end of January, this is going to be a really good cycle. It's going to be a good cycle even if we're only at 123K, but this would change things. If we're at 158K in the first month of the year, and we've got like a whole year of bull cycle to go, you guys, we could be well above even my highest targets, which are at like 500K by the end of the cycle. I don't think it's going to happen though. I'm only acknowledging this as a possibility because you found resistance at the 1886 right now. Okay. Really though, you're finding support at the 1618 week after week after week after week, literally 4 weeks in a row now. The likely area would be 142 that you stop at, in my opinion. That is my end of January target. At a minimum, this is more my end of December target, but at a minimum, I think 123 is where you're going to be. And that's all I got for you guys. So if you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bitcoin looks phenomenal. What a healthy recovery it had yesterday. What a phenomenal recovery it had yesterday. That 4-hour period, man, just you're moving down, your volume's dying off, and then literally at your low, your volume's just dying off. Of course, you're recovering here. Just because volume's dying off and you're recovering doesn't mean anything, right? You're recovering off of this low volume move to begin with to the downside, right? You're probably going to recover up to this point with low volume, and then once you start getting above like 102K, that's probably when the volume would be nice to come back in. Obviously, once you get to new highs, that's when we really want to see, we want to see more volume than anything that we've had here recently, but it's not a concern. If anybody's looking at this and you're like, oh, that's concerning that we're moving up without volume, no, it's not. It is not. I don't know how else to put it. It's just not. In instances like this, when you're moving down dramatically and volume's dying off, you can bounce without volume, without significant volume, because it's like you didn't have that much significant volume to come down. You're gonna probably need even less to come back because you've already got the bounce in effect. You're gonna need to have a bit of a breather, a recoil. All your selling's gone away. You don't need as much buying to retrace this move, which already had less volume right to begin with. Already less volume than anything else that we've seen in this range. But I'm going to end it there, guys. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. 123K by the end of this month. 142K, if not higher, by the end of January. That's what we're going for. Hit that like button. Bye-bye.